You know, one of the most attractive things about the teaching of Christ is the importance that he places in our hearts of love and of being respectful and open and longing to help everyone become fully who they are. The dignity of the individual, the importance of the individual, the importance of who they are, that's the thing that Christianity is so beautifully, filled with in terms of a faith life, a way of living. The way we treat every human being is at the heart of the way in which we are to understand the teaching of this marvelous figure, Christ. So one of the things that the church has often in its reputation is that it's a hard, kind of edged group of people who have a lot of judgment and a lot of condemnation. There's a lot of focus on rules and laws, and individuals are somehow, condemned or accepted according to how they perform. And that's such a caricature of what the church is supposed to be. I mean, it's not a group of judges and a group of people who are ready to condemn and get rid of people who aren't living up to what they're supposed to. No, it's a focus on being there for each other. It's a focus on using every rule, every law, every aspect of this wonderful thing we call our faith life. It's using all of it in a way that it was intended to be used, where people who are engaged in this thing called Christianity are lifted up out of darkness into a place of life, that they find a dignity and a value in who they are by the way people treat them. So we see in St. Paul a very simple, direct invitation to imagine that all of the Old Testament, everything in it about the rules and laws, and we know that in the Old Testament there was a way in which the rules and laws became more important than the individual, and that's always a danger of religion. It's why when Jesus came to preach and to teach, he was rejected, because his focus wasn't on so much the law as it was on the individual person, and how the law had to serve these people. And when the institution had become, in a way, self-serving and serving the rules and laws over the people, then obviously Jesus was an incredible irritant in a very upsetting kind of way. And so that, what he was trying to do was turn everything around. He turned it upside down. And that didn't go over very well. So he was silenced, and they sought to destroy him. But they couldn't destroy his message, because it's written in every human being's heart. We all know that's what we're supposed to be, So this, reading from St. Paul is a powerful, direct statement that all the rules, all the laws, all the commandments can be summed up in one simple code of life, one simple thing. Treat everybody else in the way that you would love to be treated. Love everyone like you love yourself. It's a simple, direct, and basic focus of everything that we do. And the other thing that I want to talk about for a moment is the way in which we understand this mystery of the Incarnation, because, the Incarnation is at the heart of Christianity, and what it's all about is that God, who wanted to become flesh and wanted to enter into our world and directly work with us through this incredible, gift of his presence in our life. And what he continues to want to do in Christianity, in our faith life, is to open us up to this extraordinary gift of his presence inside of us. And why that's so important is because, the rules and laws are one way to govern people. It's an external code that you have to follow. If you don't follow it, you're punished. But that's been, in a way, superseded by this other way of guiding people, and that is that there is a gift, a spirit, a presence inside of everyone. And that gift and presence inside of everyone has the goal, the focus of wanting to be an agent that draws everyone into this wonderful thing we call the kingdom, the truth. A place where people are respected, where people are honored, where anything violent and anything destructive against another human being is somehow absolutely forbidden. Not because it's written in law, but because that's what we know in our hearts. So this interesting image of God's presence incarnate inside of you and me, guiding, communities is a very, very important focus to understand that that's what Christianity is about. It's about community. It's all about the way we treat each other. But it's more than just saying, all right, everybody shape up, know the laws, make sure everybody's following the laws. It's not exactly that. It's having this mysterious gift of presence inside of us that when we point out to someone that they haven't done what they're supposed to do, it's not just that we're judging them, but the image is that we're there for them. We're longing for them to change. We carry within us a presence that can do a work that no human being can do and no law can do. You know, the one thing about the law is that it can tell you when you're right or wrong. It can always free the innocent and condemn the guilty. But it doesn't have the power within it to change people. It just has a way of pointing out where they are. But this mysterious presence of God, which is the gift that you and I carry inside of us, it has the power not only to point out where someone might be wrong, but it has this mysterious, spiritual, powerful quality of being able to be an agent of change, so that when we point out to our brothers and sisters that something isn't as it should be, when we're doing that in the presence of this figure, Christ, who lives inside of us, we're doing something more than just pointing out their faults. We're empowering them to change. Now let's look at the first reading, because it is a very interesting reading. It's from the Old Testament. And one of the things it's reminding us is certain people are given responsibilities. A prophet is called to make his people aware of the truth. That's his responsibility. And what's interesting about this reading, it lays a heavy burden on the person who has been given a responsibility like that. They have the responsibility of acting when they see something not the way it should be. They have a responsibility to enter into dialogue with whatever is going on so that they can change it for the good. And if they don't do that, then the person themselves who gets caught up in something destructive will be destroyed, and you, who are supposed to give some kind of advice or direction at that time, will somehow be responsible for that, and you will somehow lose. So the point is, it's a very interesting point that there is a deep, ingrained responsibility in people to do this work when you are responsible to people. Now, I don't believe that you and I are responsible for everyone. That would be just way too much. But, you know, it's not hard to imagine that family, a marriage, a relationship with a friend, you know, that when we enter into these relationships, when we are a part of these relationships, it's clear that there is more than just a relationship of enjoying each other's company, but there's a responsibility that we have to each other. And when that circle of friends that we have, that circle of family, those intimate people that are part of our lives, when we have that relationship, we know intuitively that there's a responsibility. But think of it not so much as an obligation, but as an opportunity that when you're in an intimate relationship with another person, that there is within that intimacy the potential of something flowing between you. Certainly you have, when you know the people that are really closest to you, you have this ability to help them more than perhaps other people, and also to hurt them more than other people. There's something about being mistreated by someone who is in the intimate circle that's much more painful, much more difficult than by being, mistreated by someone who isn't really part of that inner circle. So what is that saying? It's saying that there's some deeper connection in intimacy that both encourages us to be very sensitive to the fact that we can hurt each other deeply, and also that we can help each other powerfully. So I just want us to think for a while about that inner circle that we're living with, and what the responsibilities we have to each other, and how it is that we're supposed to live out this most important call to love, to be responsible to help each other.